What's going on, BrewTube? Bearded Brewer. Here is my response to S.J. Pour and what made me get into home brewing. Well, it all started about a year or so ago when I ran into a particular kind of beer called Tocobaga Red from Cigar City Brewing out of Tampa, Florida. Stuff was delicious, drank a lot of it, spent a lot of money buying it, but the only problem is that you cannot get it in South Florida, down in Fort Lauderdale where I live, in keg. So what I'd have to do is I'd have to drive from my house to Tampa, which is about 4 hours one way, go to the brewery, take my 8 growlers, fill the 8 growlers up, which came out to be roughly about $200 for the 8 growlers, and then drive back. So the cost of gas plus the growlers and then the time that it took to get up there. So that's what started it, but then I thought, well, you know, they have this new concept called World of Beer, and I'm sure most people have heard of it. And the goal was, you know, to be the top person to get the most amount of beers, and you get your name on the board. And I'm not sure if anybody knows how it works, but they give you a cool little card and it's tied to you, and whenever you go in you give them your credit card and your personal card, and it tallies up all the beers you've had and prints you out a list, and you get this big ass sheet of paper, and you look like the coolest douchebag in the whole place because you have more paper than the next person, and then here comes someone else that sits down next to you and it spits out the whole damn roll. So that ended up getting to be expensive too. So after 3 months, a little over 3 months, I think you got to 390 some beers, and you figure that place you're looking at about $600 or $6, $6 to $7 a beer. So you do the math on that one. So take, say, nice round number, 400 times it by $6, and in 3 months that's what was spent at World of Beer. So this relates to the whole Tocobaga Red thing, is that I couldn't even get it at World of Beer, which they're renowned for 500 bottles, 40 taps, and the only time you could get it was when they actually had Cigar City come down and have a Cigar City night, and you'd be lucky if they brought the Tocobaga. So that started to piss me off because I got tired of driving back and forth to Tampa to get my favorite beer. So what I did was I went online and I looked for a red ale that I could hop. And I didn't know anything about brewing, just from what I had seen from S.J. Pour's videos and from Craig Tube, from Chris Stiltz, Beer Geek Nation, was watching some of his stuff, and you know, I didn't really learn too much from Hockey Player, except that what I did find out eventually later is that we both have bad attitudes, so that's the good thing. Love you, Hockey. Let's see. I lost my point in the story. See, he gets me all distracted. But anyway, so I got tired of driving up there and started to get pissed that I couldn't get what I wanted. So I got this clone. I don't remember what it was. And I went up to what I call my local home brew shop, which is 45 minutes away from me, it just amazes me that nobody has taken the initiative to start a homebrew shop where I live, because unless it's home brewing is not big. To me, I think it's big. It's the only hobby you really need besides sex. That's fun too. So it was an extract kit, you know, got all my extract, got all my grains, went through the whole trying to find a stainless steel 5-gallon pot. Went out and bought a Coleman Igloo, whatever those roll cart mash tuns, made my manifold, had everything all set up, had a 2-tiered table for gravity. I thought I was a shit. So get through the whole process, get it done, get it into the fermenter, let it sit for 2 weeks. And then what I did was, when it was done, I put it in my growlers, because I didn't know anything about you know, bottling or kegging at the time. I wasn't even close to, you know, to being at that level. So I put it in there, let it sit for another week or so, and then used my father-in-law and my wife as a guinea pig. And at first, it you know, I mean, it's something you made, so you kind of want to be a little bit biased towards yourself and say, damn, this stuff's pretty good. Well, no. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good, but it was drinkable, so it was the first thing I ever made. I probably had 2 glasses of it, and probably in the end, I think we ended up dumping it out because just nobody would drink it. And I don't know, it was just something different. So that was my first and only extract. And then I got a wild idea and said, well, let's just go big. So I got 3 15-gallon stainless steel pots. Ran into this company called Bargain Fittings and went from there. So I'm not sure if I'll throw a picture in here or not of my brew stand. Most people have seen it. It's got, like I said, 3 stainless steel 15-gallon pots, the sight glasses, the 32 jet tip burners, propane, all hard piped, 2 marsh pumps, you know, the high temperature silicone, quick connects, made a counterflow chiller to go with it, which I'm pretty impressed with. Now I just got to find out where the hell to mount it. You know, I think I've mentioned before in my videos, which I got a picture, a little video I might post to show that as well, but that is 50 feet of Goodyear insulated water hose with 50 feet of 3/8 copper tubing inside of it with some quick connects, and work goes in at 210 degrees and comes out at 85. So it's pretty darn good. The heat exchange is excellent. My only problem is that I have to wait an extra probably 2-3 hours to get it to 75 degrees, because that's where I like to pitch my yeast at. And then from there it goes into my fermentation chamber, which is a 21 cubic foot deep freezer with a Johnson A419 controller. Sits at 68 degrees, unless I'm doing a lager, which I did one lager. I'll never do another lager again. What a pain in the ass. And then from there it goes to a 7 cubic foot deep freezer with a Johnson controller, and it has a 3-tap system. Right now on tap is my Gubna clone. I force carbonated my Imperial Pumpkin Ale, which will be ready for this afternoon. By the way, happy Halloween. And then I also have a Flying Dog, Snake Dog IPA, which I call Drunken Pooch. And that one was forced carbs, so they're not hooked up yet. I need to start bleeding off the excess pressure. I have, of course, everybody that watches my videos know that I have a celery beer, thanks to my wife. I have my Breckenridge 471 small craft, which I call Broken Bridge 420. That's in a keg. I have in secondary Firestone Walker Union Jack IPA. Actually, that needs to be kegged either today or tomorrow. And then I have a Pliny the Elder clone. 5 gallons of that is in primary. That should be transferred here pretty soon. And then I have a Dogfish 60-minute IPA, which I'm having problems with, but we'll get into that in another video. And then for Christmas, it's been in secondary now for 3 weeks, but I have a Old Rasputin Imperial Stout clone that I'm leaving until probably the second or third week, the week before Christmas, and we'll see how that goes. So that'll be 2 months. Yeah, about 2 months in secondary. So that's in keg. I have 6 different ones in bottles. So I love to brew. I love home brewing. If I have the time, I will brew depending on what it is. There's only 2 of them right now that I brew 10-gallon batches. The other ones are all 5-gallon. But if I have an opportunity, I'll do 3 batches a weekend, and I'll do it consecutively until I don't have any room. So yeah, I would say it's like crack. It is liquid crack. It gets in your blood. It gets in your skin. It's part of who you are. It brings you to just a different side of you know, finding great people. You know, this community that we're all a part of is just fantastic. And if it wasn't for SJ, you know, coming up with this whole concept of Homebrew Wednesday, you know, everybody would be off on different tangents, and we'd all, you know, be scrambling to find some type of forum to where we can all converse. And, you know, I'd be the first one to tell you that I screwed something up and I need some help. So that's how I got into homebrewing, why I got into homebrewing, why I'm still into homebrewing, why I'll always be into homebrewing until I can't move my fingers no more, or until my kidneys, my liver, and my bladder decide they're going to explode. So that's how the Bearded Brewer did it. That's how the Bearded Brewer does it and will do it. So with that being said, SJ, you are the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you very much, sir. This is the Bearded Brewer. Enjoy.